Nigeria and happy new month. It's February, and while the Canada storm, the political atmosphere remains charged. I'm Yemi, and this is Daybreak Live, where power is questioned, leadership is tested, and narratives are never accepted at face value.
And I am Samson Balogun. The month opens with a serious national controversy. The Pentecostal Fellowship of Nigeria, PFN, is calling for the removal of the INEC chairman over comments it describes as genocidal. This isn't just a clash of opinions, it's a direct challenge to the moral authority and credibility of Nigeria's electoral empire.
When faith groups raise the alarm at this level, it signals something deeper than disagreement. It raises questions about trust, restraint, and the fragile confidence Nigerians place in institutions meant to protect democracy.
Shortly, Daybreak News brings you the major national and global developments shaping governance, security, and public accountability.
Definitely, and after that, we take you through the newspaper headlines and analysis, not just what was said, but why it was said, and who benefits. Joining us is Oladile Emmanuel, Abiola, public affairs analyst and entrepreneur.
Then our big story takes us to Lagos, where street protests, demolitions, and police response have collided. Street protest in Lagos, public anger, police response, and demolition controversy. Is this law enforcement at work or governance under pressure in Lagos?
And helping us unpack the security and civic dimensions is Dr. Okunokola, security expert and public affairs analyst.
We also keep an eye on Trend Watch, where public opinion, outrage, and influence intersect.
A new month is here, but the national questions remain unresolved.
Stay with us on this show. The morning, of course, has just started and it's getting started right here on Dominion Television. And thank you for making us your companion this morning.
Definitely. Good morning and happy new month.
Good morning to you, Yemi.
Yeah.
Well, it's really nice to be back here. It's a fresh month, but the stories are fresh, but they are not really fresh because some of them are developing actually.
Exactly.
So we can say they are not so fresh.
Semi-fresh.
But interestingly, there are a lot of things to talk about, but most importantly, when the electoral empire becomes a place under attack for statements made by the chairman, then I think it is time for us to actually sit down, and maybe some people should actually know their places, know what to talk about, how to talk about it, and how to maintain a balance so that you don't, some people in some quarters don't feel like you're actually taking sides, or probably you are making reckless statements. I mean, when the chairman of INEC, Amokwito, was attacked by PFN for saying certain things, and then they have actually called for his removal.
Yeah, just like you mentioned, this all started, I think, about a week ago or something like that. And then even before PFN, I think Northern can also released a statement to say that, okay, why should this particular group call for the sack of Amokwito just because of some of the things that he said while he was, just before he became the INEC chairman. And then it took me back to 2023 general elections, especially when APC released that they will be flying a Muslim ticket. A lot of Christians were not really comfortable with that because, I mean, past administrations will always come with the president, whether a Muslim or a Christian, and then the vice, a Muslim or a Christian. So it's been a while since we experienced that, a Muslim ticket. Maybe talk about during the time of Abiola, when we were able to, when Nigerians, or let me say when the party came up with a Muslim ticket. So because of that and issues like that, just like I always say on this show every single time, Karl said something. He said religion is the opium of the masses, and then through that he meant to say that it can intoxicate people. Yes, religion has been able to give people hope in recent times, but it has a way of making people numb if care is not taken. It can cause all other issues. So and apart from this point now, PFN came out to say that just like every Nigerian, Amokwito has every right to speak on Christian genocide in the country, and then every other person can also do that, and that should not be misconstrued with his duties as INEC chairman. So these are the issues that we have in our hands. And then I think they also made reference to what a certain minister of this country said recently. That's the Minister of Culture, Tourism and Creative Economy. That's Anatu. Yeah, she said something that if APC decides to drop Shatima, it might affect the outcome of that election, that, it might be a huge risk for the APC. So they are trying to say that, what is really going on in this society. I also recall that even the last election, a lot of persons, a lot of families, a lot of friends, they stopped talking to each other because they had different, persons to vote for. So if care is not taken, same thing might repeat in 2027, because this is like a year to elections, and then we're already seeing things like this. It can be solved properly. Originally, Nigeria is a secular state. We're not even supposed to be debating religion. It's supposed to be about, competence. Can you do the job? But over the years, religion and ethnicity, has crept so much, into this, the politics of Nigeria, and it has become a problem. So it will take us a lot to actually, clean certain things from the roots, because it didn't just start today. And then the sad thing about this whole thing is the fact that those who started this ethnic rivalry, religious bigotry, most of them are long dead. But then the relics will always speak, and that's what we're experiencing today. So it really should not be about that. We need to move past that. And I don't know how the president is going to solve this. And then PFN also made a mention of one thing. They said that the immediate past INEC chairman, as a matter of fact, the last two INEC chairmen that we had, they were Muslims. So they are saying that why is it that, this group is calling for the sack of this one that is a Christian? So it's a problem. It became a major problem in the last election. Even now that APC is here to say, oh, we are flying a Muslim ticket or a Muslim Christian ticket, a lot of people are already complaining that APC should not take a Muslim as a vice. So it's a problem, and it's not just about one religion now. It's something we need to face head on, really.
You see, it's further highlights how much damage religion has done to us as a people, as a country, and it's becoming alarming. Initially, we were still talking about the Muslim ticket. Oh, it should be Muslim Christian. I mean, who made the rule book? Who made it cast in stone that this is how it should be done? That is one thing. But then it's getting worse. And you see people now beginning to bring out pen and paper to calculate who actually gets what position, what religion he practices, what religion is from, not minding what competence actually brings to the table. And that is a very big problem for a country like Nigeria. And just like you said, people who started all of this, they are no longer here. So why can't we just sit down and see exactly what we can do differently that will give us better results? You can now imagine the current situation now. Someone has gone back in history to check, oh, the last two INEC chairmen were Muslims. Now, this one is a Christian, and some people in some quarters are calling for his resignation or maybe his removal from office. I think that is just a tip of what is to come, because it's definitely going to get worse than this. It will get to a stage where people now check what religion you practice before you go into some offices for information across the country. Because if you get this low, then what exactly are we trying to do? What exactly are we trying to preach to the next generation? Because now we have been divided across religious line. We have been divided across ethnic lines, and it's becoming more and more of a problem. So now you talk of, oh, you are Yoruba, I'm Igbo. Okay, after that, they will ask you, what religion do you practice? I mean, that's too much of bureaucracy for us to go through. And also talking about Amokuta, I think people should understand the fact that before people actually get to offices, they are just human beings like every other person, and they are bound to make statements that might really not sit well with everyone. I mean, you cannot please everybody. As much as you make a statement that people are hailing you for, there are people in some areas who will feel like, oh, that shouldn't have been something coming from someone like this. But then for the chairman of INEC, I think it is a timely warning for every other person out there. If you still have a career to pursue, sometimes there are statements that some people will consider reckless. And that might actually affect your what you call credibility, loss of public trust, especially in a country like Nigeria, where we've got Muslims, we've got Christians, we've got traditional worshippers. In fact, people will say, oh, when they want to talk about religion in Nigeria, they talk about 3 religions. But then I think there are way more than that, right? We've got way more than that. We've got some religions that not many people are talking about. But then that has affected him now. I just hope that there's a way for him to actually clean up all of that and make it all go away. And also, the political backlash that comes with it. When the political season actually heightens, when the season actually comes forth, people are always looking for loopholes, the lacuna to attack you as a person. And statements you made in the past may actually come back to actually haunt you at the end of the day. So that is one of the things you should know as the INEC chairman. If there are other things he said in the past that he feels like, oh, that's all gone, people will actually go and get the receipts for him now and put it out there. So he should be ready for barrage of attacks from everyone out there. So it's becoming a challenge. You spoke about religious bigotry in Nigeria. I think it started a long time ago, and it's not going away anytime soon. Because the kind of politics we play in Nigeria actually takes us back to that. The more you try to move away from that, I mean, you definitely, before you wake up or maybe open your eyes, you are back there. And that is because even the leaders are not helping matters. They are always towing this path every time the election is here. Why not organize what you call a town hall meeting and everyone is there and then talk to them? Why go to CAN? Why go to Muslim Association of Nigeria Man? Why go to the traditional worshippers separately? Because you are creating a room of divide if you do all of that. But then we're here. How do we correct all of that is one thing we should be talking about.
Definitely. You mentioned something that when people talk, sometimes they forget that the receipt will always be there.
It will be kept, and the internet does not forget.
At all. And that's why it will take me to the issue of Tore back again, Tore and Reno Mokwe. He said something on national TV, and then Tore had to take that to the court. I watched a video over the weekend, and then that video was played where Reno was saying Bola Ahmed Tinubu is a drug lord, and then they were playing that video. So I'm very sure he never thought a day like that would come, that a video like that would be played, against him. So basically, it's just like you mentioned, even if you are not vying for any post, or you don't know whether you get any appointment, maybe later in life, it is best to always be diplomatic about how you say some things in certain times. And then apart from that, I think the president can find a way to resolve all of this before the next election, because we are still trying to deal with the fact that INEC must learn from their mistakes. All that happened in the last election, they must find a way to resolve it and ensure that those mistakes, do not come up again. I think that's one of the major things that Nigerians are clamoring for, to say that, okay, we don't want to hear, there was a glitch, there was this and that. We don't want to hear Beavers is not working in certain areas. I mean, billions of nairas are going to be, pumped into this general election. So we want to ensure that everything will work well. So I want to believe that the person who appointed him will find a way to resolve all of this, because it's causing tension. And if care is not taken, the politics is already eating up. We don't want anything that would divide the people the more. I mentioned to you in 2022, 2023, there are friends on WhatsApp throwing jabs at each other. They stop being friends just because of you want to vote for this person. We belong to this tribe.
That actually happens.
I want to vote for this person.
More between the Renewed Hope movement and the Obidati movement at that time. People who actually believed in the Peter Obi movement. I think there's something that should be done about the Obidati movement, or let's say, what do we call them now? The Labour Party movement at the time.
Obedient.
The Obedient.
Okay.
I mean, there are ways you pass your message across that you are not aggressive about it, and you don't trample on people's right to talk. I think it was way common during that period where whatever it is you want to say, they don't care. In fact, they are really, the attack was more on a particular tribe than the other. Oh, because you are this, because you are that, oh, because this person is from your tribe. But you are talking. Yes, you have every right to support a candidate, but do not attack another person for supporting another candidate. I mean, we can't all be on the same page. And people were saying, even when governors were moving from one political party to, the ruling party, they were saying, oh, the president wants to have a one-party system in Nigeria, and people were really against it. So why not leave people to opinions? They have the right, every right to say, this is what I want. So there should be no attack on any other person. So as you were saying, the Obidati movement at that time really had, it was war on social media, especially on Twitter at that time. But then, can we go past just attacking people on social media and go and attack people, on the ballot? I mean, just vote. When you vote, that's the best way to attack anybody.
Exactly.
Because you make it count. That's the best way to do it. Don't do it in person. Do it with your thumbs. And then once that is done, you can say, oh, I voted for so person. And once it counts, your candidate wins. Then it's a win-win situation for everybody, because eventually, if your candidate loses, you know that is all you could offer.
Exactly. And then speaking of attacking people and bullying people online, a popular actress now, Jokel Silva, and the Bibo Akitola, she granted an interview recently, and she made reference to that that time she was supporting a particular candidate, and then people were bullying her. And because of that, she said, this person that my sister is supporting, I will support that person. Let's see if you kill me. At the end of the day, you're not supposed, it's their right to choose whosoever they want to vote for. Do you know that some husbands and wives stop talking to each other for months because of election? Because you are supporting this person and I'm not supporting that person. Right. Some children fought their parent for months because of election. Imagine, election that you will not collect money out of it. You will not collect appointments.
It's funny to me how some people actually almost lost their careers because they supported a candidate, during the last election. One of them was Sheyi Law. He was really vocal about the Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu movement. And he spoke recently and said some people no longer support his shows because he supported President Tinubu and he doesn't care. You could remember Tony Abraham was really vocal on social media. In fact, so many people bullied her. I think she arrested one of them during that process.
Tony Abraham was able to coin over Sabi Auntie, because of that scenario.
So we should learn to play fair politics. Yeah. Yes, we understand we cannot all be on the same page. It's not even possible. We're not born in the same home. We don't have the same ideology. We don't think the same way. So meaning that what you like, I might not like it. And what I like, you definitely might not like it. So we should go back to that place where everyone has the freedom to support anybody they like. And then, just like religion, you might be a Muslim and I come to preach to you and say, oh, why not become a Christian? I say, no, I don't want to. And there's no fight. I move on. Okay, you might preach to me as a Muslim and say, oh, why not become a Muslim? And I will say, I'm not interested. And then you move on. So there should be no fight. If you have preached to a particular person about a candidate and you want them to support them, and he says, no, why not move on? So why go to social media and then begin to tag people, saying all sorts of things? I mean, you are not even getting paid for all of this.
Yeah, and there's a way to woo people to your camp. If anything, if you think this person, is not saying the things that you're saying, there's a better way to say it. If you want to correct me or make me see, from your lens and you're trying to attack me, I don't want to give you a right of reply because you just want to rant, basically. I mean, there's no point arguing with you. But then if you want to woo me to your side, there's a way to talk to people. Absolutely. There's a way to present your argument and say, you're not saying this that I'm saying. The other person can now come back and say, you also are not saying this the way I'm saying it. And then you can just agree, basically say, I'm not going to vote for that person. I'm also not going to vote for that person, but we can be at peace.
And there's a way to talk about weather report on this show.
Exactly.
Okay, let's take weather report and see what the weather looks like across the country. Let's help you plan your movement today. Okay, we'll be starting with the southwest, the Asian metropolitan city of hospitality, Ibadan. And the weather in Ibadan currently feels like 29 degrees Celsius right here. And later in the morning, it will remain the same, mostly cloudy, 29 degrees Celsius at 2%, while it will rise by 6 degrees Celsius to 35 degrees Celsius in the afternoon with scattered thunderstorms at 51%. And later in the evening, it will drop sharply to 27 degrees Celsius, partly cloudy, 13%. And overnight, it will be mostly cloudy, 25 degrees Celsius at 8%. So if you are in Ibadan today, prepare for scattered thunderstorms in the afternoon.
Okay, let's cross over to Lagos. This morning, weather feels like 33 degrees Celsius, and later in the morning is expected to drop to 29 degrees Celsius, partly cloudy around 7%. In the afternoon, 31 degrees Celsius, partly cloudy around 21%. And in the evening, it drops to 28 degrees Celsius, partly cloudy around 5%. And overnight, 27 degrees Celsius, partly cloudy around 2%. And that's what we have for Lagos this morning.
All right, moving on to the south, still in the south anyway, and that is Port Harcourt, River State this morning. Weather in Port Harcourt currently feels like 23 degrees Celsius, and there will be few showers later in the morning at 28 degrees Celsius, 34%. It will be mostly cloudy in the afternoon and evening at 29 degrees Celsius and 24 degrees Celsius respectively, while overnight it will be partly cloudy at 22 degrees Celsius, 22% right there in Port Harcourt, River State today.
Okay, let's cross over to Abuja, Federal Capital Territory. Weather feels like 24 degrees Celsius this morning, and later this morning is expected to rise to 31 degrees Celsius, sunny around 0%. At the afternoon, we have 37 degrees Celsius, mostly sunny, around 0% as well. In the evening, it drops to 29 degrees Celsius, clear around 1%. And overnight, it drops further to 25 degrees Celsius, partly cloudy, around 2%. And that's what we have for FCT this morning.
All right, still in the North Central, moving on to the largest state in Nigeria as we speak, and that is Niger State, Suleja to be precise. Weather in Suleja currently feels like 24 degrees Celsius right there. It will rise by 6 degrees Celsius to 31 degrees Celsius later in the morning, while being sunny at 0%. In the afternoon, it will rise to 37 degrees Celsius, mostly sunny, 0%, while it will drop to 29 degrees Celsius in the evening, being clear at 1%. It will drop to 25 degrees Celsius again overnight, partly cloudy, 1% right there in Suleja, Niger State today.
Okay, let's cross over to Kano. Weather feels like 18 degrees Celsius this morning, and later is expected to rise to 28 degrees Celsius. It's still in the morning, partly cloudy around 0%. In the afternoon, we have 35 degrees Celsius, partly cloudy around 0%. And in the evening, it drops to 26 degrees Celsius, clear around 0%. And overnight, it drops further to 19 degrees Celsius, clear around 0%. And that's what we have for Kano Municipal this morning.
All right, I think that will be all on weather reports this morning.
Yeah.
Keep listening to watching us on the Dominion Broadcast Group on all social media platforms, Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok at Dominion Broadcast, and on X, follow Twitter at Dominion Broadcast. You can also watch us live on our website at www.dominion.org.ng, dominion.org.ng. Let's go on a quick break. When we return, we'll take the news. We'll be back.
Good morning. This is Daybreak News on Dominion Television. I'm Oluwayemi Adelakun. The Federal Ministry of Works has set May 29, 2026 as the target date for the commissioning of the 29.5-kilometer Bidas-Ngeru-Wushishi Road in Niger State. The target was disclosed during an ongoing inspection tour of federal road projects organized by the ministry ahead of President Bola Tinubu's third anniversary in office. According to a statement issued, officials inspected several project sites across the state to assess the level of progress and readiness for commissioning. The ministry said construction work on the Bidas-Ngeru-Wushishi Road, being handled by Gerawa Nigeria Limited, has recorded significant progress with about 16 kilometers of asphalt overlay completed so far. Troops of Operation Adinkai have killed a top Boko Haram commander, identified as the group's second-in-command, along with 10 other terrorists in Sambisa Forest, Borno State. The operation took place around 11 p.m. on Saturday in the Kumala General area of Kaduga local government area. In a statement, the media information officer of the Joint Task Force Northeast Operation Adinkai, Lieutenant Colonel Sonny Uba, said the neutralized leader was identified as Abu Khalid. He added that several weapons were recovered during the operation, while no casualties were recorded among the troops. The Kwara State government has announced the reopening of schools across the state effective today. In a statement, the press secretary of the Ministry of Education and Human Capital Development, Peter Amugwajayi, quoted the Commissioner for Education, Lawa Olungbebe, saying the decision follows a significant improvement in the state security situation. School authorities have been formally notified of the development. This reopening comes months after schools were closed in November 2025, following rising security concerns in parts of the state, especially border communities and forested areas, where incidents of banditry and kidnapping had been reported. Talking politics, Plateau State Governor Barrister Caleb Manasseh Mutwang has defended his defection from the People's Democratic Party, PDP, to the All Progressives Congress, APC, saying the move was in the best interest of the state. The governor, who officially joined the APC on January 27th, has faced criticism from some political figures who accuse him of betraying the mandate given to him by the people in the 2023 election. Speaking with newsmen at the government house in Jos, Governor Mutwang said this decision was misunderstood, explaining that the PDP is currently plagued by internal crisis with no clear resolution. It is close that although he was previously under pressure to defect, including outreach from President Bola Tinubu, he initially resisted the move. According to him, the ongoing instability within the PDP convinced him that aligning with the APC was the best platform to serve Plateau State and prepare for the 2027 elections. And in business, the Nigeria Governors Forum has resolved to designate sugar as a strategic commodity to drive industrial development and generate over $2 billion in revenue across state. The decision followed a collaboration between the NGF and the National Sugar Development Council, NSDC, with the forum endorsing a formal partnership to help state develop investment-ready sugar projects. Speaking at the meeting, the Executive Secretary of the NSDC, Kamal Barkin, urged governors to embrace sugar project development. He identified 11 states with suitable land for profitable sugar production, including Oyo, Kwara, Niger, Nasarawa, Kaduna, Kano, Bauchi, Gombe, Jigawa, Adamawa, and Taraba. And in sport, Joseph Atule has completed a move to Niger Premier Football League side, Barao FC. The forward joined the Kano-based club from Aimba, where he made just 9 appearances this season. Atule struggled for regular playing time with the People's Elephant after joining them in 2023, despite being one of the standout performers in the MPFL during the 2022-2023 season. The move to Barao FC is expected to help revive his career in the league. Atule previously featured for Lobby Stars and had turned down a lucrative move to Rivers United before joining Aimba. You can visit our website on www.dominion.org.ng to watch us live and interact with us. You can also follow us across our social media platforms, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube and LinkedIn at Dominion Broadcast and X at Dominion Cast. That's Daybreak News. I'm Oluwayemi Adela. Can say thank you for watching and good morning.
Need a professional space to bring your vision to life? Dominion Television Studios offers state-of-the-art facilities perfect for your next broadcast, commercial, corporate video, or live event. With flexible rental options, cutting-edge equipment, and a supportive team, we provide the perfect environment for high-quality productions. Unleash your creativity. For bookings, email us at marketing@dominion.org.ng. Call us on 0705 506 1061 or 0916 101 1061. Check us out on Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, and TikTok at Dominion Broadcast and on X at Dominion Cast. Book your space today. Dominion Television, your channel of choice.
Live from the heart of the action. Welcome to the nerve center of Next Level Broadcasting.
This is the OB van, where the studio meets the street.
Equipped with cutting-edge cameras, crystal clear audio, real-time switching, and broadcast control, we don't just capture moments, we deliver the experience live.
Anywhere, anytime, from stadiums to red carpets, breaking news to buzzing festivals, weddings, birthdays, and all sorts of ceremonies. We bring the world to your screen in real time.
It's not just a van, it's a complete mobile production house, a command center, a broadcast beast.
This is more than a broadcast. This is the OB van difference. Live, loud, limitless.
Ready to go live? Like never before. Book the OB van today and take your event to the world. One powerful broadcast at a time.
To book, call 0705 506 1061 or 0916 101 1061. Email marketing@dominion.org.ng or visit our socials on Instagram at Dominion Broadcast.
Dominion Broadcast, your channel of choice.
I welcome you back this morning. Thank you for staying with us. This is newspaper headlines and analysis. I'm Oluwayemi Adelakwan. I'm not alone in the studio this morning. I have with me Oladele Emmanuel Abiola, public affairs analyst and entrepreneur. Welcome on board this morning.
Thank you so much. Good morning.
Good morning. Okay, this morning let's start from this headline. That's the banner headline on the Guardian newspaper. It says Nigerians turn to survivor businesses as formal jobs dry up. Now, what is going on? Because I've discovered that in recent times, even a lot of persons with white-collar jobs, 9 to 5, they resign, they start up a business. Is it because the economy is so bad, really? What is going on?
Yeah, the economy is so bad to that extent that averagely, when you get to the job business, when you go into the workforce, the labor force, the first minimum, let me say the average you'll be offered, is around 70,000 naira.
Wow.
What do you want to use 7,000 naira to do at this time? That's, okay, 77,000, that's the minimum wage, right?
Yeah.
Transport, feeding, other expenses alone does not, in fact, come within 77,000 naira. So yeah, it's that bad. It's that bad.
Even business owners are still complaining. So what's the way out?
Yeah, there was a time, I have a mom as a trader. There was a time when you could go to the market with 30,000 naira and come back with a lot. But now you go to the market, a family wants to complain to me that they go to the market with 150,000 naira now, and it's barely enough for them. So the market is that bad. So market women understand that when they go to their suppliers, what they get for 2,000 naira before, they get it for 4,000 naira now. They get it for 4,500. So you see that there's a lot of demand, but there's not enough money, and that's the principle of economics. That in the way it starts affecting the market people, because those are the people who supply the daily needs of the people, and the people to give them the money do not have the money. You're paying someone 100,000 naira to do what? Transport alone is around 40 to 50k average for every basic Nigerian. 50,000 naira. Feeding now, you go to, okay, let's say you want to be fancy, you go to one popular restaurant, average food, a plate is 2,000 naira.
Okay.
30 days, 60,000 naira. That's over your budget.
Mario, do you have a background in statistics? Because I mean, the way you're giving me the figures, I'm intrigued. Right. But really, let's talk about this before we leave this particular story. Some politicians, the likes of Adams Oshiomhole and quite a lot of the popular ones, they go on national TV to say that the prices of food is dropping.
Oh no. Oh no. Oh no. Have you met market farmers? Okay, farmers will tell you that fertilizers, we used to get it at this price, we get it at this price. Now, after producing, they lose some crops to herdsmen, wherever, and now they have to sell what is left. Then they start capping it. So you can't tell me that food price is actually dropping at that rate. Yes, sometimes it drops. So it's like a chart. It goes up, goes down, goes up, goes down. But are we at a stage where things are no longer declining as we expected? There was a time where we were told that in 2 years' time, what used to buy rice, gari, and coal, what used to buy at some certain prices, we come down.
Okay.
Now, subsidy has been removed. Okay, there was a time they said they opened the border. However, we are not seeing the impact of this. Food prices are decreasing, honestly, but not at the rate that they're picturing to us.
Okay.
Not at that rate.
Okay, I think it's a fine place to leave that discussion. Let's move on and talk about this one still in the Guardian newspaper. 2027 article holds talks with ADP leaders amid Obi Kwakwanso alliance rumor. Some persons are saying that there's a chance that Kwakwanso might just align with the likes of Obi and Atiku. Do you see that coming, and can that even take this APC out of government, the current administration?
I don't see taking the APC out of government.
Really?
However, I also don't see Kwakwanso Obi's coalition, because Kwakwanso has been a candidate that has been running for presidency since I've known him. His aspirations have always been for the presidency. So that coalition is saying is that Kwakwanso will either be a VP or be a minister. Okay.
He said he doesn't want to be minister. Is either president or VP?
Or VP.
Yeah.
Then if he wants VP, definitely coalition is a doable stuff. But if not, Kwakwanso is a front man. He wants to be there. So I don't see. Even if Obi and Kwakwanso were to coalesce together, but I don't see them taking the current candidacy.
Okay. So what then happens to the likes of Amechi? Because these individuals are still in the ADC. Yeah. The likes of Amechi, the likes of, just like you mentioned, even Obi himself. Yeah. I mean, if Kwakwanso comes in and takes VP, then what happens to the rest?
Right. Okay. These have been long-standing members, like you said. Amechi has been there. Others have been there. So you're saying Kwakwanso will come in. Yeah, that's politics for you, actually. You see some parties. For example, Oyo State government, there was a time where politics was raging, and he never just came to a party and he was chosen instantly. That's politics for you. As long as it aligns with the political party's goals, definitely, even though he comes in from the outside to take over the VP candidacy, yeah, they'll be. It's a doable stuff.
Okay, it's a fine place to leave that discussion. Let's cross over to Nigerian Tribune, and I have this headline. Let's talk about Oyo State for a minute.
All right.
It says, "My team will continue where I stop in 2027." That's coming from Makinde himself, and that headline has this right as Peter Obi, Lord's governor for uplift of state. He's saying that his team will continue, wherever it stops in 2027. But a lot of persons are saying, with all that is going on in Oyo State as we speak now, especially about the 50 billion saga, even with the park and the things that have been done in recent times, a lot of persons complain that, oh, my houses, our houses were destroyed, things like that. Do you think PDP has what it takes to retain Oyo State even after, Makinde leaves?
I don't think so. The old strong candidacy PDP has at the moment is Seyi Makinde, and however, he has expired his terms. He only has 2 terms, and he is almost done with the second one. And his team there's something about Nigerian politics that we actually lack, that we need to gain, is consistency in goals and projects.
Okay.
You see a regime coming in, then doing one thing halfway, another regime comes in, abandons, continues, and does another thing. So that's something that is lacking in our politics and in our government, and we actually need to focus on that. Now, Seyi Makinde assuring us of that is a good promise, right? He said that his team will come in and all. However, we should not forget that, one, Seyi Makinde is leaving this time. Secondly, I don't see who PDP wants to put against the other opposition parties. I don't see it yet. You've seen some candidacy trying to, in recent times, like a week ago, you've seen a candidacy trying to come out of the woodworks, projecting himself as the savior of Oyo State. So, is team doing something miraculous, something great for us at this time? I don't see it here, but I just hope that the next candidacy, this just is, if the next candidacy can acknowledge the works of Seyi Makinde and continue with that, I see Oyo State moving forward in the next 4 years, the next regime. I see Oyo State, in fact, picking with the likes of Lagos, because at the moment we are not, but we can.
Okay.
If they continue.
Okay, but don't you think PDP is really strong in Oyo State? And then I recall when Seyi Makinde came in, it was not really popular. But because of the popularity of the party, he won that election. So regardless whether PDP, decides to, bring up someone who is not so popular or not so strong, maybe because of the popularity or the strength of the party, he might just win. What do you make of that?
Yeah, that's a factor. That's a factor to consider in politics. However, sometimes, there's a way a political party. What Seyi Makinde came into PDP was at a very low point, to be honest.
Okay.
Seyi Makinde gave PDP the boost. Sometimes political parties give the candidate the boost, and the other way around. You see Peter Obi that we mentioned earlier, he gave ADC the boost. ADC was not in any way to vie for presidency at that point.
But ADC has Atiku, who has been contested since 1993.
Atiku had been contested, but he's not a popular candidate.
I really might not really want to
agree.
with
Sure,
that.
sure. Yeah. That's why we have our opinions. Atiku is not a popular candidate, but Obi came in with a force, and he boosted ADC. So whoever PDP will be producing in Oyo State for the next election must be a major party, must be a major candidate.
Okay.
Because PDP as of today, without Seyi Makinde, honestly, I don't see them as a viable party. I don't see them contesting. Okay,
especially with this old trouble with the
saga
court,
thing.
You think they're not doing so well as a political party.
And you consider the 50 or 30 billion naira?
Initially, Fayose said 50 billion naira was sent, but then Oyo State government came back to say 30 billion was received and 20 was withheld.
That's politics for you.
Really?
That's politics.
Okay. It's a fine place to leave that matter, speaking about Oyo State. Let's also look at another headline that says, Osun Assembly vows to recover all diverted local government funds, restate oversight, legislative power over local government areas. We've been having this back and forth over local government, especially in Osun State. And some persons are saying this same thing that the president is doing to Osun. He didn't like it when he was a governor of Lagos State, and then Obasanjo, was trying to do certain things. What do you make of this?
Yeah, I see it as a lot of times we take actions because we do not put ourselves in the shoes. When you said it, when our president was then governor, he didn't like it. But when he became the president, he understood that he needed to do it. So that's to show you something, that if a former president did it, and now he who was done against is doing it. That shows you that he has experienced it before, so he saw the need to do it. Now, if you talk about the diverted funds and all, we'll see that that's still one of the issues affecting our politics greatly.
Okay.
Because why would you divert if funds meant for a particular sector, essentially the local government? So we still have that corruption issues and all, but going back to our issue, yes, I feel like he understood that he needed to do it. So yeah.
Well, it's affecting the governance, one way or the other.
Definitely. Like, it's like what your federalism is that the central government is independent, the state government are independent. So sometimes the state government do not want the federal government to come in and to interfere into their actions. But sometimes it's needed like this. So, yeah.
Okay, let's move away from that and cross to Daily Trust this morning. I have this headline that says, Tinubu abroad 22 days in 1 month. What do you make of that?
I followed that travel route for a while, and I didn't think much of it.
Okay.
22 days. Why? You have a nation to govern. You won't see the president of America touring nations. Well, that might show our level of relevance, but it's not so good. It's not a good picture for us. You staying out of your country for 22 days. You're not on vacation. You're still on work. You should not be out of your country for 22 days.
Okay, so let's take it back to the Guardian now. Obi Ford Tinubu on multiple foreign trips 2027 agenda. Don't forget that, he traveled recently to Turkey and then he slept. Yeah. And a lot of persons are saying, why should the president, sleep? I mean, the president of a country. But some persons are saying, it's no big deal if he sleep. Anyone can do that. But then at the end of the day, the presidency is saying he's doing all of this, so that, investment, more investment can come to this country, and then we can get better in terms of, economy. So do you think that is, a very good one, regardless of whatsoever it is that the opposition parties are saying? I mean, if it will bring investment to my country, why not? I'll go on the trips and then ensure that I bring these people on board. Yeah.
Personally, I'm a major advocate for efficiency.
Okay.
So if you're delivering, even though you're not physically capable, but you're delivering, because majorly the work of the president is not really physically, it's mental work. He's putting things in place, giving this order, giving that order. If you can efficiently think of solutions for us and you can deliver, fine and good. If you sleep, all the best. But I believe that sometimes physically you need to be strong. Okay. There was a time where Joe Biden, of the former president of the United States, he had those similar issues.
Exactly.
And it was one of the major reasons why he had to stand down during the last election for the US. So I believe that even though it's good if you can deliver efficiently, but your physical strength determines a lot, because it is when you're physically strong that you can actually bring thought to yourself and put some things in place, put the right policies, do the right things. So yeah, if, like you said, if you can bring the right investment, although we are not seeing it yet, to be honest.
Really?
We are not seeing the impact it promised us yet. Yeah, they said it would take time, but yeah, this 3 years gone. At least we should see the horizon at the moment, but we've seen nothing. And we are sure that he's going for the next time. So I urge Nigerians to think twice, wisely, and pick wisely.
Okay, it's a fine place to leave that discussion. Let's cross over to this day and check the banner headline that says, coup attempt was targeted for elimination, says a defense minister. Says Interpol after civilian suspect on the run. Discloses Nigeria's security pact with Turkey and not to spite US. I mean, political transition could join APIS as soon, says ex-cities. What is going on, in the army? And the army as a whole. Why would the defense minister come out to say that, he was targeted in that coup attempt and not just the president? I recall that the parade was cancelled, for last year, in the Independence Day, just because they had rumors that, a coup might actually happen if care is not taken. So really, do you agree with the defense minister that it's really not about the president now, but it's more about him?
Yeah, because when I read the story, it was a disgruntled colonel who failed his brigadier general exams, so his promotion exams. So he wanted to retaliate. So essentially, it's just impunity. So it's an offense to the military, and it's just basic impunity. There was no attempt on the presidency. Although you could call it the coup because the defense staff, chief of defense staff, is actually the head of the military. So definitely you can call it a coup against the military head. So yeah, we can call that. But it's the military. Things like this are bound to happen. We've seen other countries at the moment that underwent real coups. I think Cameroon and Niger Republic, they underwent the coup and all. So it's normal for the military. However, it's the civilian government that should understand how to tame the military. So on this side, actually, so it has nothing to do with the civilian government. It's just about the military system. And yeah, it's a bad thing, obviously. But then, yeah, I won't say there's a lot wrong. Of course, there was something wrong. That was why he agitated.
Exactly.
But it's not, I don't feel it's a big thing to cry about. The whole.
I like your stance, and I would love to harp on a few things because I recall even during when military incursion happened back then in the 60s, 70s, there were major reasons why it happened. Not just because there were corruption alone, but within the military, some junior officers felt that the senior officers were enjoying so much while the junior ones were suffering. Yeah. As a matter of fact, most of the senior officers had access to the suites, enjoyment and luxury and all of that. So it led to, there was even a palace school within the military. Do you think that is happening currently?
Yeah, that's the same thing. Because he felt disgruntled by what the results showed. I told you it was a promotional exam. He failed. Maybe he expected that with what I did, I should have passed this exam. And you've seen nepotism happening a lot in all sectors of Nigeria, military, federal, state, or no. You see people are being appointed into positions of power by nepotism. So he felt maybe he was bypassed. He felt maybe something was wrong somewhere. So yeah, that's why I won't say I'm on it. I won't like to support all these coup and all, definitely. But he must have seen something. Right, you must have understood, because like you said, you don't just act randomly. There was a basis for his action. But I also celebrate the military for being able to deter that and put it in place very, very well, because it could have gone more, it could have gone worse. The chief of defense was supposed to be killed, but it wasn't. So that was a great job. Okay, before we leave this particular matter, now, do you think it was right for the military to deny this in the first place and later, I think about last week came out to say that, yes, there was indeed a coup attempt? Yeah, something about the military is that they don't do the normal things civilians do, right? You expect, if the presidency, if something happens to the presidency today, we expect them to talk. But it's the military. They have a system, they have a procedure. So I would think it's justified. Okay, on that basis. Yeah. It's the military and the military intelligence. Okay, so away from that, just before we go this morning, let's take a look at this headline that says, anxiety as Soludo reopens Onitsha market. There was, a bit of not even a bit now, intense, back and forth, throughout last week, because, there was a time the market women had to come out to protest to say that, okay, you have no right to tell us to close the market, this and that. Soludo is saying, I want to put an end to sit-at-home Monday that have existed for many years. What do you make of this at this point in time? Because, speaking about the stance of the market women now, and of course the stance of the governor. Yeah, so it's on the part of the governor, it's an order. Okay. So it's not a law. Like, a law is that if you do this and you don't do this, this is the punishment. It's an order. Open the gates. Open your shops. You can tell me to open my shop, and I don't need to. So on the part of the market women, if they decide not to open their shops, they're fine and good. And in fact, it's their right. It's their right to own property. So you can do whatever you want with your property. So if the governor says open it, don't open it. All well and good. Unless there's a punishment. Definitely, when there's a punishment, it becomes something to be worried about. But if you just another that open the shops, there's no more sit at home. The market women are concerned that the IPOP groups might come against them if they open the doors of their markets. However, it is up to them to also choose to do or not to do. So I get the part of the governor and I get part of the market women. So it's a clash of, like what you say, clash of the titans. It's like the government against IPOP in the real sense. What we are just saying is governor and the market women, but in the real sense, it's the government and IPOP. So it's the clash of the titans. It's the grass underneath, the market women that's suffering at the moment. So yeah, it's up to both parties. Okay, so what would be your best advice to the governor now in terms of how he should handle this matter? Because he also said something that he had a conversation with Nnamdi Kanu, and Nnamdi Kanu, mentioned to him expressly that he has nothing to do with this whole, sit-at-home and all of this, really. Yeah, there's something called stakeholders. Okay. So Nnamdi Kanu, of course, is a stakeholder in IPOB. However, there are other stakeholders. So if governor wants to do something like that, that has a stance, that has a strong vote amongst the populace. Because the populace opinion is that there should be sit at home. But the governor wants to do something against it. Okay. So if the governor wants to do something on that, he has to speak with the stakeholders. The stakeholders will then speak with the populace that we've agreed. You don't just come with another. In that way, in this sense, it's a cultural thing in these parts now. It's become a cultural thing. So you can't tell the people to do what, except it's a law, like I said, but you can't just come and order people around. It's a culture, it's an habit. Now it has become part of them. So if the governor wants that, he has to speak with the stakeholders, speak to the populace, and then back like that. So dialogue and mediation.
I think that's very brilliant. A big thanks to you, Oladele Emmanuel Abiola, for being a part of this segment.
Thank you so much for having me.
We look forward to more of you on this show. Thank you. This has been insightful. Honestly, and a big thanks to the audience for joining this segment as well. We need to take a short break, and when we come back, we move on to Big Story. My name is Oluwayemi Adelakun. Please stay with us.
Need a professional space to bring your vision to life? Dominion Television Studios offers state-of-the-art facilities perfect for your next broadcast, commercial, corporate video, or live event. With flexible rental options, cutting-edge equipment, and a supportive team, we provide the perfect environment for high-quality productions. Unleash your creativity. For bookings, email us at marketing@dominion.org.ng. Call us on 0705 506 1061 or 0916 101 1061. Check us out on Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, and TikTok at Dominion Broadcast and on X at DominionCast. Book your space today. Dominion Television, your channel of choice.
Across Lagos, the sound of FV machinery has been met with the voices of residents demanding answers. What began as a demolition exercise has grown into a flashpoint, raising questions about public anger, police conduct, and the balance between urban development and citizens' rights. This morning on The Big Story, we examine how a single controversy is shaping a wider conversation about governance, accountability, and the future of civic expression in Nigeria's commercial capital. Samson Balogun is my name. In recent weeks, parts of Lagos have become the epicenter of a new wave of civic unrest, sparked by the demolitions of homes and informal settlements in several communities across the state. State authorities say the exercise is driven by safety and environmental concerns, including structures built near high-tension power lines and flood-prone zones. But for many affected families and small business owners, the experience has meant sudden displacement, loss of livelihoods, and uncertainty about compensation, relocation, and due process. As residents took to the streets and marched towards key government institutions to make their voices heard, the response from security agencies, including crowd control measures and reported arrests, has ignited a fresh debate about the limit of lawful protest and the responsibilities of states to protect both public order and constitutional rights. They are two different things. And to help us unpack this area, the social and policy implications of these developments, we are joined by Dr. Kunle Okunla, a seasoned public affairs analyst, a security expert, and a civic affairs expert, who will offer insight into what this moment means for Lagos today and how it could be shaped the character of future protest and the citizen-government relations across Nigeria. Thank you for joining us on this show this morning. Dr. Kunle Okunla, good to have you again.
Thank you for having me again. Good morning, Nigerians.
We are going to Lagos today. The people of Makoko, Oworonshoki, and so many other places are asking deep questions.
Yeah.
Where do we go from here? It's a very big question.
Yeah.
Before displacement, there has to be an arrangement.
Yeah.
But in a country like Nigeria, there's displacement before arrangement. So what should be the faith of the people of Lagos, especially in areas deeply affected by the current displacement going on in the city of Lagos?
Thank you very much. We don't have a normal country in Nigeria yet. The day we have a normal country, and all this hypocrisy and harassment will cease. In my Nigeria of today, there is virtually no place for a poor person. You know, a poor man in Nigeria is voiceless, is faceless, and is nameless. Makoko, which is a home to thousands of poor Nigerians, began life as a fishing community.
I was about to ask that question. That is a business hub.
Yeah. It started life as a business community about 100 years ago. The people have been there for about 100 years ago, and there's no official population number, but unofficially, they say we have about 200 to 250,000 people living in that community, and there hasn't been any major incidents, of insecurity or whatever that has happened in that place as recorded, by some major newspaper in Nigeria. The mega city of Lagos, which is an estimated population of more than 20 million people, is noted for having a very serious accommodation, problem, and that is the reason the government of Lagos State is embarking in urban regional, planning and settlements, and Lagos State government is, hanging on the fact that Makoko and some other areas, they are not well planned, and people are living there, illegally.
That includes Ijora,
yes,
Owodioniri,
that the houses are built, they're wooden houses built on water and very close to power line. Now, as it is, the truth is that the demolition going on in Makoko, Owodioniri, Mile 12, Shogunro, and Bariga is both illegal and unconstitutional, and I'm going to break it down, for record. Now, some years back, the people of Makoko went to court, over the same issue, and they got a judgment against the government of Lagos State, and the judgment read thus: any eviction of the people of Makoko by the government of Lagos State without a commensurable compensation and resettlement plan is a crime against humanity. And the judgment also awarded a sum of 3.5 million naira against the Lagos State government. And so the people felt that even if we're going to be moved from this place, there's going to be commensurate compensation, and there's going to be, there's going to be a resettlement plan.
A relocation approach.
Yes,
to all
and
of this.
All these were not in place, and all of a sudden, in the middle of the night, the demolition started. And also, there's another community, Owodioniri community, recently took the Lagos State government to court over the same issue. The case is still in court, and Lagos State government is, taking action.
They have embarked on demolition,
Yes,
even
on
when the
demolition,
case is in court.
And it's a serious issue how our governments are not obeying even the court injunctions, and when in any country where that happens, it's a serious matter, because the last hope of a poor person, all right, as we will say, is the court, the judiciary. And here we have a government that is not regarding the court issue. A court judgment has been taken, and there's another court case going on, and yet the Lagos State government is embarking on a demolition.
So they call it a demolition spree.
Yes, because nobody cares about the plight of a poor person. Since the demolition pre-started, 12 people have died, and among them is a 5-day-old child. And that's why the people are saying that the governor of Lagos State is a baby killer, because you have to consider the plight of the people. You came in the night with the help of the police and the evacuators, and you started demolishing people, not minding, the health and the well-being of the people that are in the place sleeping. And there is no commensurable compensation, and there is no relocation plan. What do you want the people to do? Where do you want them to go? Where do they begin from? All the while, that is where they have their livelihood for more than 100 years ago. If you are going to move somebody who has been in that place for that long, then you must have a commensurable compensation, plan for that person, a relocation plan, so that we move you from this place and we take you to another place.
So let's talk about urban development.
Yeah.
Some say that will not come easy. How about checking if the state government actually passed a message across to the people of Makoko, Owode Onere, Shoki, Bariga, and so many other places currently undergoing this the demolition spree we're talking about?
I just said that there was a court judgment that was received by the people of Makoko when they took the Lagos state government to court many years ago, and I just read what the court judgment says, that before you can do that, you have to adequately compensate the people and have an adequate relocation plan. All these were not there.
Talking about the role the police played in all of this, the Nigerian police, they are saddled with responsibilities, which is to protect the lives and properties of the people, Nigerians. So at what point did it get to a stage where local grievance turned to a wider public protest? And what does that say about citizen-government relationship in Lagos and the role of the police in all of this?
Thank you very much. The police, the Lagos State Police, have not done well in this matter. I listened to several interviews granted by the Commissioner of Police in Lagos, and from what he said, he himself knew that the police have not really done well, because for the demolition, the police and Lagos State officials were the people that were there, overseeing the demolition. All right, and everybody knows that Section 39 and Section 40 of Nigerian 1999 Constitution says that you are free. We're free to have a protest, freedom of a speech. Section 39 and 40, freedom of assembly to protest, peaceful protest. And the law says you don't need to get a permission from the police before you can stage a peaceful protest. You only need to inform them, and that also is it's not mandatory. You need to inform them because the police has the responsibility of providing security for the protesters. All right, their main responsibility is to ensure the safety of the protesters. But what we've been having in Nigeria is police resisting the protesters, and that is against the law. Okay. The police have not done well.
So is the police against the people or for the people?
The police should be neutral. They should be neutral. But we've been having a situation where the police are always against the people. This was what happened. The people marched to the Lagos State legislative and demanded to, be spoken to by the leader. Okay, the leader was not around, and they said, "Let us enter." Sit down. There is a place like amphitheater inside the Lagos State Assembly where people can sit and they can be addressed. Okay, and I think 3 or 4 of the legislators came, to address them at the gate, and said, "This is not right. You came with umbrellas because it was in the heat of the sun, with umbrellas, and we are in the sun. We put you in office. Let us enter and sit at the amphitheater so that you can address us." And they said no, because you can't enter. And at that point, legislators, they were angry and they left. And the next thing that happened was that the police began to shoot a tear gas onto the people, and so many of them were wounded. And the question is that the right approach? Internationally, the tear gas used in dispersing a protest and water cannons has been banned, because both of them, they are very dangerous. The police, the commissioner of police was talking, and he himself was agreeing that the use of tear gas can have a carcinogenous long-time effect on the people. Apart from that, the can create wounds or some other things. But what about the long-time effect on the people? And the water cannon, he said they have the water cannons on standby. Water cannons is even worse than tear gas, because these are very hot waters that can create a lot of damages, onto the people. And that's why the international bodies have resorted to, dialogue, that use dialogue or you use your shield. There is a shield that the police use to
push back
the people. But don't use tear gas, don't use batons, and don't use the water cannons. And that is what we're having in Nigeria. You know, so the question that everybody is asking, what is the hope of a poor person? Is it a crime to be poor? Even the holy books assure that there will never be a time that the poor will cease from that. There will always be poor people, you know. So are we not going to breathe because we're poor? Like somebody was talking about the urban regional, you know, planning, whatever. And I asked, all the lands that have been taken away from the poor in the past, you know, how many of them
eventually went back
to the poor? Go to VCG, can you see any poor there? Go to Ajah, can you see any poor there? And these are lands that are taken from the poor. And now the poor cannot go back there, and they are not compensated, and they are not relocated.
Where is the thin line between maintaining public order and respecting citizens' rights? Because there's a thin line between these two.
Yes. I know that, you know, the law says that you have the right to protest, but it also says that you don't block roads, you know, you don't interfere with the freedom of other road users, because where your
don't
freedom
obstruct businesses.
Yes, you don't all businesses. Where your rights end, that's where another person's right begins. Like the commissioner of police was saying in Lagos that, you know, the reason they used the tear gas was because, you know, the major roads were blocked and the people are suffocating in their cars. All right, but the protesters says that was what we want to guide against. Why we say let us move into the premises of the Lagos State
House of Assembly,
because there is a amphitheater place that can contain us, and once we enter, there will be free flow of movement. So all these things that the police are saying, they are not holding any water, because if you have done the right thing, you know, there wouldn't have been any need for the use of tear gas.
Okay, there are three parties in all of this.
Yeah.
The community owners, who eventually became the protesters.
Yeah.
We have the Lagos State government,
yeah,
and also the police.
Yeah.
Now, in all of this,
yeah,
the Lagos State government had a responsibility to the people of Lagos.
Yeah.
The police had a responsibility to the people of Lagos,
yeah,
so to the government.
Yeah.
While the people of Lagos, who are currently being affected by this clampdown, also have responsibilities to the government.
To the government, yes.
And also a level of respect to the police. Now, some people are saying that the police were eventually provoked to act the way they acted. But that is not the question. If it gets to this stage, we have seen protests across the world.
Yeah.
And we have seen how it has been handled.
Yeah.
Why is Nigeria's case exceptional? Why do we always have to go through this over and over again? Is it a systemic failure? Or it's the people? Because eventually, it's the people that are the police officers. Yes. It is the people that are in governance.
I think it's a failure of the system because of the mindset of the government. The truth is that, like I said when I started, I think it's becoming a crime to be poor in Nigeria, because a poor person is faceless, is nameless, and is voiceless. Your voice will not be heard. You know, your name will not be mentioned. Say 2 people or 3 people, you know, and
lost their lives.
Lost their life, and you are defenseless. You don't. It's like you don't really have any right, and you know it's pathetic in a country that is being governed by constitution. You know, the people must be given space to live. All right, like one of the protesters was saying, you know, we are here illegally, and for the past 100 years, you've been collecting taxes from us. We are paying taxes. You understand? Those houses there erected, they pay for the space.
The land use charge.
They pay. Are you collecting it? Now you want to take it away from us. All right? Are you going to refund all the money we've paid in form of tax and land use for the past 100 years to us? All right, as a means of compensation, and where do you want us to go from here? Because we know that once the land is taken away from us, it's never coming back to us. At least we're going to live in a place. Where are we going? And so you wonder what else you want the people to do. They've gone to court. They've secured court judgment. The government is not respecting that. And the next thing is to go on the street for peaceful protest. And those guys came out peacefully. All right. One of the reporters was asking the commissioner of police, because they arrested 5 people, they released 3 remaining 2. And they said, from all the protesters, do you find any weapon or arm or anything? He said, no, but we had an information that they might be carrying. But do you find anybody? He said, no. All right. And with that, this was a peaceful demonstration. That even at a point, even students, all right, had to join them, because invariably these students, most of them are from
those communities.
And once you ask their parents to go, where are we going? What is the plight of those students? Because that is from the fishing war business. That's where the parents get money to send them to school. And once they take them away from that place, the business is gone. It's not just the accommodation. The livelihood is gone.
Is there any legal lifeline for the people of Makoko, Woronshoki, Bariga in all of this?
Yes. The last hope of the poor.
But you are not sure of it?
I'm not sure. It's judiciary. And if they had...
How weak is the judicial arm of government that it has become... It's meant to be the refuge for the people.
The truth is that the government is not respecting the rule of law, especially when it has to do with a poor person.
The government has not led by example.
The government is not leading by example. The government is not leading by example. And so it's in fact, I actually respect what the people of Morocco have been able to do, with the level of their patience and respect for the rule of law, because it's like you have pushed them to the wall, and the next thing you expect is a reaction, and they have not done that. Even yesterday, they were still on the road, and human rights activists are coming, and this thing I'm saying is what they are saying. It is not a rocket science. It's just there for anybody to see. They have gone to court. They have received judgment. All right? The Lagos state government is not respecting, the judgment. There is a court in case presently. And when a court is in case, we all know that you don't even talk about it. Talk less of taking an action. And the Lagos government is doing that. And it's the same police that the people we want to run to that is supervising the demolition activity. So what do you want the people to do? Where would they go?
Okay, is treating the Nigerian people with dignity a difficult thing for the government to do?
You treat somebody with dignity when you have value and respect for the person. But if you don't respect or you don't have any value for that person, you don't treat them with dignity. From what we have been seeing, the government of Nigeria, do not have or does not have any dignity for the people. The government of the people, for the people, by the people, maybe in the Western world, but not in Nigeria. Not in Nigeria, so many things that the rich are doing and getting away with it. Let the poor person does that. Then you see the way that it's going to be alarmed. This morning, this just by the way I was hearing in the news that, this man that has been resisting arrest, that have done so many things, to blackmail the EFCC, I will not go to court, that the court is, giving him permission. I'm talking of Yahya Bello, permission to travel to Saudi Arabia to perform lesser Hajj. And I begin to wonder, what a country are we? So once you have money, you can do away with anything. Let a poor man resist arrest. He can be shot and killed, and the police will back it up with the law that when you resist an attack, you can be killed. And this is a person that has resisted an arrest for several times and is given permission to go on Hajj, lesser Hajj. He's already an Alhaji, meaning that he has been to Mecca several times. What will happen if he doesn't go for this one? And you hear stories after he must have left. That is the way Nigerian people are treating his own people.
Let's talk about the loss of public trust.
Yeah.
The government, as the people have lost hope in the government. including the police.
Yeah.
So how can the government and the police rebuild public trust amongst the Nigerian people? Not just Lagos. Now we're talking about Ibadan, we're talking about Niger, we're talking about Abuja, and so many other places.
The only way that the trust can be rebuilt is when the government or the police begin to have respect for the people. But presently, there is no respect for the people.
So they must give something to get something in return.
Yes, you must give something to get something in return. You know, the police that is supposed to help the people are the ones that are harassing and intimidating and oppressing the people. And nothing will come out of it. Nothing will come out of it. You understand? You know, there are about 5 or 6 people lying in critically ill in the hospital as a result of this. 12 people have died, including a 5-day-old child. Nothing will come out. There is no compensation or anything that will come out of it. You know, and it's so sad how a poor man has no place in Nigeria. And all they are doing, all the government is doing, is to keep the poor persons, you know, short perpetually, you know. And they do this because they, from experience, they know they don't really need the poor. Or in some other nation, they will say we will wait for the times of election. Even if the people go on an apathy and they refuse to come out, you know, they will still win the election.
I was about to ask you this question, that
Yes.
will this particular act influence the voter behavior ahead of other elections?
Of course it will. You can't displace me of my home and of my livelihood
I still
and
expect you to vote
to
for
go
you.
and, you know, queue up in the sun, you know, to vote for whosoever, because majority of them are birds of the same feather. You know, they are good before they get to offices. Once they are there, they do whatever they like, you know. And yes, even if they don't go out to vote, with the way, you know, politics in Nigeria, you know, we are gradually going to one party politics. Almost every opposition, you know, is going back to a particular party, you know. So even if they do not go, the government or the leaders or the politicians know that it won't affect us. And like one of the protesters was saying, you know, this is not validated anyway. He said he got to know that the reason they wanted to take away those lands for them is because they have given it to
Their cronies.
their cronies. Yes. And you can't fault that with what has happened in the past. You know, what they are doing will affect the people's disposition to election, but it doesn't really matter to the politicians.
Okay,
They have their way.
very quickly before
Yeah.
we end this
Yeah.
morning. We have seen patterns in the past where a certain government might take the not so good decisions against some communities that they felt like they didn't get too much votes
Yeah.
in the last election.
Yeah.
So could this be the same pattern in Lagos, or this is strictly
I didn't
about...
get the question, please.
Okay, we have seen situations where a government that wins an election
Yeah.
goes after communities where they got lesser votes
Yeah.
in the election that brought them to power. Could this be the same pattern in Lagos, or it's just masqueraded as something different?
You can't rule that out. You can't rule that out with the level of intimidation and harassment that government, you know, is levying on people of opposition. You know, do you think that it's that easy? You know, the way most governors, most influential politicians are, you know, moving to a particular party. Some of them are doing that because they want to avoid being harassed, and there are government weapons that they use in harassing people of opposition. That's why they're doing that, you know. And so when they know that, you know, we didn't get enough votes from this particular party, when they come in, they victimize them.
Okay,
and this should not be.
Let me show you this very
Yeah.
quickly, Dr. Kunle Okola. let's talk about some communities.
Yeah.
APC's dominance in the last election in Lagos, they won 375 of the 376 councillorship seats, and they won all 57 local governments. And for some specific communities like Lagos, Makoko, that belongs partly to Lagos mainland, also Oronshoki, that belongs to Koshofe local government. But then, this thing really interests me.
Yeah.
In the 2023 presidential and governorship elections, okay, Lagos mainland, LG, APC's Bola Ahmed Tinubu had significant votes, but the Labour Party's Peter Obi performed very strongly overall in Lagos statewide. Yeah. Koshofe local government, which Oronshoki belongs, results showed high support for opposition parties like Labour Party in 2023, with APC trailing in the presidential vote in that LGA. In other LGAs covering coastal and lower income sections like Amu Ward of the APCs performed less strongly, with the Labour Party commanding larger shares of the vote. This looks like a pattern. Yes,
it is. You know, it is not the first time that we'll be having this kind of a scenario. You know, it's a payback
for what happened in election.
For what happened in election, that you didn't vote for me, then I will deal with you. All right, and it shouldn't be. It shouldn't be. People have the right, you know, to vote for whoever they like. Yes, they have the right, you know. And with this that is happening now, I'm sure that the present political party in Lagos State will suffer, you know, in terms of votes, election votes, in these areas that have been victimized, because there is no way. We are human beings.
Are you sure there will be anyone left in those communities by the time they are done with demolition?
I'm not sure. I'm not sure. With the way things are going, I don't think there is anything that will.
They might not have to bother about those areas.
They might not have to bother. It doesn't really affect them. You know, it doesn't really affect them. They've done the best they could. Go to the court. They received a court judgment. They've gone to protest, and they've dispersed them. What else do you want them to do? Some of them are making, you know, plan to go elsewhere. And that is starting all over again. You know, business is gone, livelihood is gone, and accommodation is gone.
Dr. Kuliokola, your 2 cents for the Lagos State government this morning. After that, you take that for the police and the people of Lagos.
I would like the police to be more compassionate in dealing with the people. I know they were well trained. They should go back to the books and see, you know, the way they were supposed to treat the people when people are, expressing their opinion in terms of peaceful protest. This is not what is in the book that, you know, we're trained for. Then the government generally should be more compassionate about the people. You know, whatever we do today becomes an history tomorrow. Forgetting about the fact that maybe nobody can do anything to you, but the history. We have had some influential politicians in this country that oppressed the people. Today, they are regretting it, you know, because they should have done better. And the people, you know, yes, we have to support the government and we have to support the police, you know. So God helps us.
Thank you, Dr. Kunle Okola, for joining us on this show this morning.
Thank you very much.
It has been a wonderful session with you.
Thank you.
The Lagos State government is setting a precedent. And as Lagos looks ahead, the choices made in moments like this will echo far beyond the streets where the protest began. Finding common ground between progress and protection remains one of the defining challenges of urban governance. Our guest this morning has been Dr. Kunle Okola. I will thank him for sharing his perspective, and to you for staying informed with Daybreak Live, where today's stories help shape tomorrow's conversations. Samson Balogun is my name, and up next is Trend Watch. Welcome back from that short break. The show is still Daybreak Live right here on Dominion Television, your channel of choice. Do well to link up with us on all socials, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, at Dominion Broadcast, and on X, formerly Twitter, at Dominion Cast. You can also watch us live on our website at www.dominion.org.ng, dominion.org.ng. Leave us a comment. We'll take it on this show. All right, Oluwayemi Adilakun is back in the studio, and it's time for Trade Watch.
Definitely well done. What we have this morning saying Nigeria's problems stem from politicians, not poverty, and that's coming from Peter Obi, who joined ATC recently. And then he was saying this, I think there was an event, talking about you had 50 events, he was there, and then he was commending the governor to say, you've been able to do so much for this state, we are seeing improvement here and there, and things like that. And he said, it's not because, Nigeria as a country is really poor, or a lot of persons are suffering from poverty. The issue is because people govern poorly. Politicians govern poorly. I think he has a good point, but then, however, I think in a way, politicians, have been able to weaponize poverty. Poverty is not only a state of mind anymore. People are suffering from poverty. And because of that, it's like a fertile ground for a lot of politicians to perpetrate all sorts of things. Because I recall even the last election, Ondo State election, for instance, now, the governorship election, some persons voted for a candidate for as low as 5K. And then we saw videos whereby a particular one was saying that, Atigbowo Adetisibe. Translated, we've collected the money and we've voted. So when you tell people like that, and then you tell them, politicians are the ones sponsoring poverty, they really might not want to listen to you. It's about what they want to get from that particular election. A lot of persons even leave their house because they want to make money, out of that particular election. So in a way, poverty has been weaponized by politicians, and then it's become a very big issue. It will take us a lot of years to actually, erase all of these things and then come to a clean spot whereby people can really vote for who they want to vote for without expecting any certain amount, in return.
Well, I think one thing that still baffles me about Mr. Peter Obi, who actually was the governor of Anambra State, is that he forgot that when talking about politicians, he's also one of them.
Exactly.
And he cannot be exempted from the wrath we are currently seeing in Nigeria, because he was governor for 8 years in Anambra, initially elected under the All Progressives Grand Alliance, that is APGA, in that state. And also, I was privy to a particular headline dropped in the name of Mr. Peter Obi also, saying it's the old politicians that are the problems of Nigerians. I mean, I want to ask, how old is Peter Obi as we speak? So if he's talking about old politicians, who exactly is he talking about? Because he was governor when majority of these old politicians were governors in Nigeria. So we cannot exempt Peter Obi, regardless of if he wants to be polished as a new being, as someone totally new to the Nigerian politics. I beg to disagree. Peter Obi is not new. Peter Obi has been one of the politicians we have in Nigeria. And there's nothing different between himself or maybe Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu in terms of how long or what politics we have played in the past, or Rotimi Amechi, a former governor, Rauf Aregbesola, and so many other people who have been governors in Nigeria in the past. The only thing I can say is that, sometimes as a football player, you are always the best player when you are on the bench, because you see the mistakes being made by other people. But when you get onto the field of play, you make the same mistake over and over again without blinking or batting an eye, because you are not even seeing your own mistakes. And now the only difference is you might just have people around you who are spotting those mistakes real time and correcting you. And one thing this administration has done that we have seen is that when the policy comes and there's a backlash, they easily retract and bring it back and say, let's adjust and modify. We have seen it happen about 3 or 4 times since President Bola Ahmed Tinubu became president. So going back to Peter Obi, he can make all statements that he likes, but someone like me would disagree because he's not new. And nobody has to paint Peter Obi as a new being because he's not a new party or there's a new movement. We can all go back to the drawing board and say, yes, we understand that past administrations have made mistakes. But that does not mean that someone who is on the sideline knows better than someone who is already there. The only thing is, if they have always known better. We have had several, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu is not the first president in the history of Nigeria. We have had several presidents. From 1999 till now, we have had President Olusegun Obasanjo, we have had Umar Musa Yar'Adua, we have had Goodluck Ebele Jonathan, we have had Muhammadu Buhari, and now we have Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu, and that makes it 5, right? So if they have always known better, Nigeria should be what you call the Sena climb today. So other people should refer to Nigeria as a Sena climb. But hey, here we are. So it means that it's not really about the person. It's a systemic failure. So how do we correct all of this to get back to the draw, to where we want to be? That's a very big question. So as the people, it now becomes our responsibility to vote for the right person. So how do we know the right persons? People go for candidates on the ballot because they are coming from the biggest party. Who told you that because he's coming from the biggest party is the most knowledgeable? No. Who told you that he's going to be compassionate because he's from the biggest party in Nigeria? Nobody said that. It's not cast in stone. Why not go down and see a party and just thumbprint? Let's see who is going to bring change to Nigeria. But Peter Obi is not a new candidate. He's not. Nobody has done baptism for him and say, "Oh, you are now a new being." He is a politician. He has been a politician. He will always be a politician. So he's not different from any of them.
I think you're very important because at the end of the day, you're also a politician, and then you've served for about 8 years.
8 years.
And then there are people, one of the arguments that I listen to, sometimes when I watch him on TV, for an interview, some interviewers ask him this question to say that why are you always making reference to China, to Russia, to Turkey, Vietnam, and all of this country, and not, make reference to exactly. So these are the issues, tell us what you can do, and at the end of the day, do not forget for a second that you are also a politician. Right. At the end of the day, this whole poverty thing was weaponized, by politicians, and it's really sad. Okay. Let's take a few comments down. Ikaraga is saying, Obi's action of giving false hope is a major problem in the polity.
Okay.
Another comment, please.
Another one. Samuel Emeka says, see as this man just indicts himself without knowing. Is he not aware of that he's a politician? Probably that's what he wanted to say.
Exactly.
Okay.
The final comment for this morning, Babalola Oyemi says, oh my God, I don't know how to take that comment because of the, but this person is trying to talk about the fact that he was governor of Anambra State for a while. How you destroy it and people, okay, I think I get this person.
You ran to other states for greener pasture.
This person is trying to just speak for his own candidate, just trying to mention that you were governor of Anambra State and the like.
And I just mentioned that. He was a governor for 8 years. So we should be seeing the framework of what he did differently as an Anambra State governor. I mean, there should be a model. Okay, and there were several other claims that maybe someday we'll come and talk about this particular thing. Nigerian politicians who eventually come back and want to be something totally new, like nobody really know what happened in the past. I mean, there are people who are students of history, people like Yemi, who understand what the history is really all about in Nigeria. And that's why I always say, the moment they removed history from the curriculum in the Nigerian secondary schools, it's disrupted a lot of things because people are not abreast of what actually happened in the past.
Even when it was there, Samson, a lot of persons didn't take it serious. That's why they will say that if you want to hide anything from Africans,
just put it in a book.
Insert it in a book. They might not
and we won't be putting that in a book this morning. We are putting it on the screen so that you'll be able to see by yourself. But then it's a convenient point to draw the curtains on today's edition of Daybreak Live right here on Dominion Television. It's the, of course, Monday edition, but then stay with us all through the week, all through Friday, and definitely same time, same station, same host, same energy. Samson Balogun is my name. Keep being good out there. Keep being safe. Bye for now.
Okay, my name is Oluwayemi Adelakun. Do well to join us tomorrow. And of course, be aware that your vote is your power as we prepare for the next elections. Bye for now.